Hey, I'm Birdman.
I'm Bruce.
Time to get on target at
The Hub. Here we are again.
the red light's on. We're in here recording.
Wow. Oh, you got the outside red light on.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
going to bother us in the cage today. Cool. Beautiful day.
We brought ammo?
Yeah.
Bring some ammo? That's
Let's
not
just
ammo.
no, let's get into this right off the top. This is a used gun, but it's in very good condition, like new. And we don't see these at all used normally. It's a Beretta M9A3. Okay, and not to be too confused, maybe we can move this box. It comes with this here. Comes with 3 mags. It's 17 rounds instead of.
But here, let's go.
Yeah, 17 rounds instead of the 15 normally.
Right.
Okay, we'll get into this gun. This is their new upgrade they were using for the military trials. So they changed some things on it, as far as I understand. First thing you're going to notice when we take a quick look at it. Actually, let's do the shoot real quick.
Okay.
And
Take a look at that. That.
okay.
Wow,
Nice.
that's a nail driver.
That's well. You know what the funny thing is, almost all these guns are better than we are.
Well, yeah.
Right? No doubt about that. But this one happens to be a little bit better than normal. Some of the things they changed on this compared to some of them, we'll hit them real quick. This one comes with 2 grips,
Okay.
which is really kind of cool. It comes with this rubber grip.
That's like a
hold,
wraparound,
and it's
yeah.
a wraparound.
Wraparound.
Although the frame is grooved on the back and the front.
Right.
Okay, so it has good traction. This is to make the grip bigger, more like the old Beretta was like.
Okay.
Okay, these, which aren't on here, feel how thin those things
Yeah,
are.
these are super thin. Yeah,
Super thin, so that's for us, that's the big grip.
Yeah.
Now our hands are fairly large, so this one felt okay. I tend to shoot the smaller grips better, but
I like the smaller grips personally, but yeah, no, that doesn't feel too. That doesn't feel as big as like the the P226. Is it 226?
the Navy
that
SEAL
one,
gun.
that
or
was
the
just a
name
little
capable.
bit big.
So they've done that to it, and they've done a couple other things to it. We'll just kind of get into it really quick, which is neat. If you notice this rail on it, it's different than a lot of people's rail. It's got 3 lugs on it instead of 1.
Right.
So it has more options as far as what you want to hang on it, which is kind of neat. The other thing I noticed when I first looked at it, because we look at them before, this is the first time we shot it, of course, but I inspect it to make sure everything looks like it's going to be safe. The barrel came out without me taking the threaded protector off.
Well, does the barrel come out, or
Yes.
does this come out?
No, it comes out just like a normal.
Okay.
But normally when you have a threaded barrel like this, you have to unscrew the protector. This one comes right out of the frame. I noticed it off the bat, so it's perfectly flat. And I'm not sure of another gun I've ever seen like that.
That's pretty cool.
It was really cool. And then I started thinking about it, and for suppressors, this gun, I'm not sure if there's another gun quite like this one, but it's probably one of the most friendly ones, especially ones for the military. And why that, for our suppressor friends?
Yes.
Normally, most of these barrels tilt down when they operate, like a Glock or like,
So they do this. They do this.
SIG,
they have this
yeah.
motion. We use
This particular one,
do
which
this.
we'll double check again, okay?
Right.
When the slide comes back, basically the barrel stays flat.
Right.
Now for the suppressor guys, that means you don't have to put that booster on it. And when you put the booster on the front, that thing that hangs on the front of it so it keeps it from jamming, and then sometimes it works better with suppressed, doesn't work with supersonic, works with subsonic, it's finicky, and you have to kind of get the right ammunition, figure it out to make it reliable. This makes no difference if it's suppressed or not, and with no booster.
Right.
So if you're a suppressor guy or girl, that would be the thing. Probably get some nice advantages for that. So I noticed that right off the bat. The other thing I noticed is that the barrel's chrome lined, and they talk about this model being good for, I think it was 35,000 rounds before any breakdowns. So they've done some advancements on it. Also, it's got the history of being in the desert and being from 40 below to 140 degrees, because it has been our military gun up to recently for what, 30 some years.
30 some odd years.
Yeah. The other thing you notice about it, especially for sand, and I know some of the guys that have Beretta mags, you'll find some are parkerized and a little bit rough. They found that wasn't the best thing to do because sand would get, and wouldn't operate right. If you feel this one right here, it's actually coated with a very slippery proprietary,
like DLC, but yeah.
And so basically nothing sticks to it.
Very cool.
So it adds to the, but you mean I'll put it in. And one other last thing, and we'll get into the scoring on it, and I'm not normally a fan of that. We talked before about these Berettas and some of these other guns that do not have decock only.
Right.
Okay, because and what we mean by that, we'll hit it again real quick. If I decock it, it's back into a safety mode.
Right.
And then you got to push it back up.
Right.
What people get used to if this is their only gun. But like the SIG 226s didn't do it,
right.
and neither did the HK that I carry. It doesn't do that. So for people that don't like that, and the reason they don't like it, a lot of people are taught to clear jams, okay?
Right.
Well, with a stovepipe or something, with their hand over the top like this.
Right.
And when they do that from the top, a lot of times they'll actually engage that safety and not know that they put it on.
Right.
So they make a kit for this called, I think it's called a G kit. I think we may have talked about it before. It's from Beretta.
Right.
It's like 47 to 50 bucks on Midway.
Right.
And it changes this back to decock only. So when you decock it, then it just goes back to regular.
Back up. Yeah.
Right to a regular about a 10-pound trigger on the first run and about a 4.5 pound in the second. So you could change that for the guys that are really interested. And then they change these sights also. And they're out now dovetailed in the front. So when they changed it, remember before they were building the frame?
Building the frame.
Yeah.
Right.
They did a beautiful job on this.
Gorgeous gun.
One last thing. If you notice the mag release, and we'll have to put a mag for this.
Get back in here.
We'll have to do it. It's on both. It's on one side only, of course.
Right.
But normally, in a lot of these, since these grips are big, you have to really adjust your hand way over to get it to eject.
Right.
The way they did this, they raised it, but they didn't raise it that much, and it just fits your hand. It's surprisingly, without having to do a lot of altering.
Yeah. So it literally, as you, and that is something that's considerably.
Well, I've noticed that in a lot of guns now. You can't. You have to, especially the smaller guns.
The only thing is, if you don't, you do have to have your hand cleared on the other side.
Yes.
So if you're up on it too much, you'll push back positively. But then that's easy. It's a lot easier than moving back and
Oh, and then they went to 17-round mags instead of 15. I think we might have mentioned that. I think that's all that I remember on the improvements of it. But it is a fantastic gun. Let's get into the scoring real quick. We're going to put it as a personal defense gun because, a lot of people say it's a large gun, of course.
Right.
So it's a holster gun only. But I like the double action model, especially for people that aren't, and that's what the military like. They like that heavier trigger, and because they don't train maybe as enough as they should with their handgun because it's a secondary weapon. But even take a look at police departments, like in New York when they went to the Glock, that New York trigger at 12 pounds.
Right.
That's they're still using that as of a couple months ago.
I always refer to these as like a nightstand.
Yes, or a home gun, or
a
travel gun in your car.
Yes.
It's got high capacity. It's extremely user-friendly. How's
Just
that?
be aware of what state you're in when you're traveling. So
yes, make sure you have to know if you don't have a
understand
permit.
exactly how much of a fine and trouble you'll get into if it's loaded in your gun.
So we'll call it personal defense gun.
Yeah.
Okay. Category representation. It's an A. I can't see anything I don't like about it, and then it even shoots good. On top of which is the main reason you have a gun, right? Manufacturer history. Of course, this has been a military gun for 30 years. 40 below 0 to 140. Intuitive safe handling. Extremely easy, an A. Carry options, we always give them a B because they're holster only, which we probably should change the way we do that because for this category it should be an A. Function, we only run 10 rounds, but perfect. Feel, it's got a good feel. I think I'm like you, on my, I have a Beretta, I don't ever use, but remember I took those grips off and put those palm swell to make them thinner. I think I probably like those thin grips, but they come in the box with it. Now it cost a B only because it's about a $1,200 gun if you find them used for about $9 and a half in that configuration with the box.
Right.
But this would be a lifetime investment because this is not a polymer gun. No. This is an aluminum framed steel slide. So it gets a B on the cost. Shootability, I don't know if we can shoot one much better. I mean, as far as me, I mean, everything's human.
It's pretty phenomenal.
We talked a little bit about the accuracy. These guns are capable of probably 2.5 inches at 50 yards. I don't know anybody that could shoot 2.5 inches at 50 yards. I don't know anybody who can shoot 2.5 inches at 7 yards very often, unless you're really going slow.
Right.
So, unbelievable gun. We're going to give it an overall A, even though we have the cost of being up there.
Yeah.
But sometimes the cost isn't the most important thing.
Get what you pay for.
Just like we talked tires and cars and motorcycles. So.
You got it.
And knives.
Yep.
Oh, and then shot glasses. What, they have a new shot glass. Did anybody see it yet?
No, where's
I moved it over here.
He's gonna
now I got to get away. Here we go, coming back.
Got to have a shot glass, right?
Okay, but we're not doing any, because we have a gun present, we can't touch any alcohol. Can we see that?
You just hold it up to the camera.
Like that?
Just hold it up there.
Like that?
There you go.
It says,
cool.
Mr. Man. Beautiful little shot glass. We'll try to use that this weekend.
Well, there you go. Cool.
So besides that, it's a lot of fun, and this is at first when I saw it, I wasn't, I thought it was just another Beretta, and so I started looking at some of the differences they did. They did a nice job.
So speaking of this weekend, it is a long weekend, Labor Day weekend. The hub is closed on Monday in observance of Labor Day, so just be aware of that. So if you need something, get it on Saturday, or you have to wait till Tuesday.
Yes, and other than that, I think we're there.
Very cool. Hey, I'm Birdman.
And I'm Bruce, and be safe.
Thanks for subscribing.
Yes. And thanks for the information, and
thanks for the
call
comments and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's nice.
Cool.
We'll keep going.